my plane out of the country leaves in 2 days, and I want to step off of that plane and have my dress change colors. So let's see if I can get this done in time with everything else going on in my life. It is Friday, St. Patrick's Day, and I just got this package from Solar Dust Company. So let's rip into it and see what we have. We've got a cute little social media card. We've got, oh my goodness, glitter. I'm so glad that they bagged that up. I love you. This is an amazing product, but you're sending me a glitter bomb in the mail without me knowing. Really? Okay. And then we have the bill and the product. Woohoo, let's open her up. Boom, that's it. There are no instructions. Yes, there are. They're on the bottle. I was expecting a separate paper, but they're not. They're just on the bottle. So I'm going to have to squint my eyes at this, even though I should have perfectly good eyes because I don't. Anyways, I don't have time to do this right now. I've got a parade to catch. So I will see you afterwards. Okay, well, that sure was fun, but it's over now, so let's get started on dyeing this dress. Please let me do this without further interruption because I have to dig through the entirety of what I packed up because I'm moving and my plane leaves internationally Sunday. And I think I have a leftover pot that I'm obviously not gonna bring with me on the plane that's gonna be big enough to dye things in. The little instructions on that bottle just said I need 1.5 cups of warm water, but when I Googled on the internet how long to keep it in the warm water, they said to boil general fabric dye for 30 minutes while continuously stirring. And 1.5 cups is much smaller than this huge pot, but I think I feel more comfortable with the amount of fabric that's going in here and raising the water levels, so we're gonna go with the big boy and boil some water. Important safety tip note, this is not a pot that I will ever be cooking food in again. Fabric dye and food do not mix in the same pot. It's a bad idea. It's a bad idea. This is like a second or third hand-me-down and it's kind of on its last legs anyway, so I don't feel bad about resigning it to this type of use instead of food. 1.5 cups of water. That's not a lot in this pot. Come look at this. Like that's not even rice water testable. I'm not sure that's gonna boil very well, but let's follow the recipe. Oh my goodness, there's something on this burner and it is burning. Okay, I have switched burners and added more water because as it's starting to steam and boil, water is coming off of it. So I'm just gonna keep it relatively warm so I don't lose as much water and I guess pour the entire thing of pigment in there. It's very white now, but if I take it into the sun, you can see that it changes color even just in the bottle, which is very promising. Okay, how do I open this? Oh no, it's sealed. Ooh, here we go, satisfying peel, you ready? Whee! Shake well before use. Wear protective gloves and attire while handling. Oh, okay. I'm gonna put this on pause and go get me some gloves because we always read directions twice. Honestly, when I'm sewing things, I never read the directions at all, but this is potentially hazardous, so twice, baby. Gloves. Back on the heat. Stay warm, my baby. Where'd my dye go? Here is the lid. No, but seriously, where'd the dye go? It's over on the table by where the gloves were. I'm off camera, but I promise I'm back in a blur. I don't know what I'm singing the tune of, but I apologize to any copyright. I don't think I'm actually infringing. Anyways, bottle of color changing dye. Pop that lid open. Make sure there's no double seal, which there's not. Do not pre-soak fabric. Mix 2-ounce hue chrome dye and 1.5 cups hot water. Place t-shirt into mixture. Allow to absorb completely. I'm gonna leave it for like half an hour. Thoroughly wring out garment. Air dry completely, away from the sunlight. Wash in cold water on delicate. Air dry or dry on delicate cycle. Do not wash or dry with other clothes. Keep out of reach of children. Do not ingest. Wash exposed areas with soap and water. They also recommend hand cleaning with cold water to sustain the effect for longer because it will wear out through time. So, bottle going in. Oh, that looks bad. Oh, that looks bad. Come look at this. I don't think this is how you're supposed to do it. I'm gonna take it off the heat. It's just gonna be hot water. I'm not doing that. I'm gonna follow their instructions. I'm not gonna follow what the internet told me to do because these people are a trustworthy brand, I hope, and they know what they're doing. So, entire bottle into very warm water, honestly. Oh, this is scary. What if I mess this up? This is like my only bottle of this stuff. The rest of that in there. Try to get some out from the inside of the bottle. This is a pretty big dress. I've only got to dye the last 2 ruffles because there's too much stuff in that for that amount to dye. I am dyeing my dress with a color changing dye. Hopefully. Okay. So the last 2 ruffles. So I do have to do some maneuvering. Oh, that's so heavy. If I don't get it exactly, it'll still probably be a decently nice ombre effect. I'm nervous about this. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I'm just pouring milk all over my dress. It's pretty absorbed. What did it say I have to absorb completely? Do I have to wring it out? Is that the next step? Ah, where's the bottle? Where did I put the bottle? Thoroughly wring out garment. It's pretty absorbed, pretty solid, I think. Making a mess here. I'm gonna bring this outside since I'm not keeping it on constant heat. The shade, you can start to see that it's working for sure. Like the dye is definitely dyeing. Oh my goodness, some of this pavement might be a little bit pink in the sunlight. No, I'm making it worse. I'm making it worse. Okay, so that stuff works really fast and there are traces of pink and white that I need to clean throughout the house while this dries. I'm gonna try to take it downstairs to the laundry room and not drip anything by carrying this pot underneath it. Unfortunately, that means all my hands will be occupied and filming will not be a thing. So just watch me clean up after myself while we wait for this thing to dry. You, for whatever reason, somehow find yourself in a similar position to mine where you've used some color changing fabric dye in your parents' backyard and stained the concrete, a good way that I figured out how to get rid of it is shovel some snow on top, rub-a-dub-dub, try it over and over again. When that fails, heavily apply some dish soap until it's one gooey mush. As the snow melts, rub at it with some paper towels and then realize that you've just created a soapy slop on the concrete that's not coming out anytime soon. So wash it out with a kettle of hot water and pour it all over the concrete. This is me sopping it up with some paper towels because I can't use rags because it's fabric dye. And also, it's cold outside and I don't want to create a sheet of ice back here for them to slip on. Also, did I say paper towels? I meant last week's paper. This is the Sunday comics, but it's Friday. That's not even funny. Now I do have a tiny little bit of the dye left, so let's go check on the dress and see how dry and how it's feeling. I might be able to dye the rest of it if I can keep this safe. That's gonna be a no. This dress is still very wet, although I hope by hanging it so that the top of the dress is at the bottom of the drying rack that some of the dye will disperse a little bit more evenly than the splotchy job I did in my parents' backyard. But while we wait for this to dry, which is probably going to take all darn day if I know anything about how long it takes my long hair to dry when it used to be long. Oh, I cut it into a bob, didn't I? Anyways, point is, you should subscribe. There's like a little button underneath this channel and you can get to see more of the crazy stuff that I'm doing, and I'll tell you more about it and how I'm doing it if you want to learn as I'm learning. I'm learning a whole bunch of stuff. It's crazy. I'm also heading out of the country in a couple days, and that's going to be an adventure. You could also hit the little bell icon next to the subscribe button so that you get notified when I post a new video, and you don't have to obviously always be checking in on Katherine, see how she's doing. I'm doing great, and I'm very proud of my work. If you're proud of me as well, if you enjoy the stuff that I make, if you think this looks cool in the end, let me know. Comment it down below. Like the video if you like it. I don't know, maybe smash the button, maybe hit it, maybe boop that button, okay? I'm just trying to fill time here. This thing is gonna take forever to dry, and honestly, I feel like I'm watching paint dry. I've been talking for way too long, but I'm literally watching this dry, so I'm not gonna post all of this, probably. If I am and you're still here, say hi to me in the comments. There is still some damp spots, and I hit it with a hair dryer, even though you probably shouldn't do that, but I'm going to try it on because we are running out of sunlight, and then I will wash it to lock in the color tonight. This is the before in the darkness of the basement. Now I'm gonna go ask somebody to be my cameraman to film the transition outside so that I don't have to go outside to set the camera up and hit record. It's fine. The immediate boom. I botched it a little bit, but it's still pretty pink. It's getting pinker. It gets more intense over time, even though there is like a very big change right away. Okay. This area and all of the splotchiness here, I think I will go ahead and try to use the rest of the dye to cover some more area. Even though it's not the brightest color, because I'm spreading it over so much fabric, I think it'll look better than this splotchy little mess. So I will not lock it in with washing yet. I will simply add some more to it. Let's go. Part 2, Electric Boogaloo. Trying to only dye the parts that need it. Okay, let that bit soak. Try to slop up as much of this as we can. Bring it out fully. Much smaller section is much easier, so I would suggest if you're trying this at home to work in small sections just like you would in tie-dyeing. I heated it up a little bit on the stove because it was already pre-mixed, but I'm pretty sure you can just follow the general instructions and add hot water to it if you do it all in one batch. It should be good just to immediately go and dry this. This is the amount of dye I have left. It is not much, and it's basically whatever I wrung out of that previous dye session, meaning I have nothing left to revise it with again. This is the only revision I'm gonna get, the only chance I have to save it, so I need to hope that this works. It is currently drying in the basement again, and then I will wash it on a cold and dry it on delicate to set it in, and tomorrow morning, see what it looks like. So it's Saturday now. I've been busy packing all morning. Very excited. I'm taking a bit of a lunch break because it's when the sun is highest in the sky and will be best to film the transition for this dress and its second round of dyeing. I hope it still looks good. I hope it didn't all come out in the wash, but after this I gotta get back to packing because my plane leaves tomorrow. So let's see how this looks. Okay, much better than it was. Still a little splotchy, but let's see how the back transforms. How does she look? Okay. Well, still a little splotchy? Okay. Well, it's my first time working with fabric dye, so that was bound to happen. Thank you. Hello, past, Catherine. It's been a few months. We made it overseas successfully and immediately accidentally forgot the care instructions and washed this beautiful dress on a normal cycle with warm water. Here's it at the beach that one time though, and we do have a sewing machine here now with more content to come. So have a look at this one more cool thing that you remember discovering before you go, alright? This is a tiny little UV light that my dad happened to have when I had the question, would this work on the color changing dress? And it turns out, as I was showing it off to my family, it does. I can make little shapes on there. As you can see, it's just some ziggy zags.